Welcome to the deep dive, where we like to really get into some fascinating reads, see if we can unearth any gems, right?
Mhm.
So today we're cracking open Morals and Dogma of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry
Okay.
by Albert Pike. We're going to be specifically interested today in his ideas about how force, intellect, and morality kind of all work together to shape the world around us.
Yeah, Pike had a really interesting way of like taking these often kind of abstract ideas of Freemasonry and showing how they connect to, very real forces that shape our lives and societies.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, hey, these principles aren't just for some like exclusive club, right? These are
Uh-huh.
like the actual building blocks of progress itself.
Exactly.
So to kick things off, Pike, he doesn't beat around the bush, right?
No, he doesn't.
He comes right out and says, force in its raw and untamed state is chaotic and destructive.
Yeah, and to really drive that point home, he uses some pretty striking comparisons. He compares unregulated force to natural disasters. Things like volcanoes,
Yeah.
earthquakes.
Okay, I can picture it. Like powerful, impressive even, but ultimately leaving a trail of destruction, right?
Exactly. And he goes on to say that just like steam needs an engine to harness its power, the collective force of people needs direction to be truly effective.
Yeah, that makes me think, one time I got caught in a massive crowd, right? Everyone pushing and shoving, but no one going anywhere.
Right.
Pure chaos.
Exactly. It's a recipe for disaster, not progress.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, what is that guiding force,
All
right?
right.
What is it that can take that raw, chaotic energy and turn it into something constructive?
All right, so what does Pike say puts us on the right track? Where do we find our moral compass?
This is where it gets really interesting.
Right.
Pike believed that intellect is that compass, the guiding force that helps steer the ship, so to speak.
So we're talking reason, logic, using our heads.
Absolutely. But Pike goes even deeper than that.
Okay.
He argues that for real, lasting change, intellect needs to be fueled by truth and love.
Okay.
Without them, even the best ideas can go astray.
That's so true. Yeah. When you think about movements or revolutions that are fueled by hatred or misinformation, they might start strong, but they rarely achieve anything good in the long run. Like they just kind of burn themselves out, or worse, cause even more harm.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pike gives some pretty sobering examples of this in his writing. He talks about revolutions that, despite, having noble intentions, crumbled because they lacked thoughtful planning and wisdom.
Right.
There's this one metaphor that really stuck with me, where he compares unrealized potential to a Californian river disappearing into the sand.
Wow.
Yeah,
All that potential, all that energy just vanishing. What a powerful image of like wasted force.
right. It really highlights the tragedy of misguided good intentions. And this leads to another, I think, crucial point that Pike makes, which is that the same force that has the potential to bring down tyrants can just as easily be used to prop them up.
Wait, hold on. That's a lot to unpack. How does he explain that?
Well, he points out how throughout history, armies, which, represent the combined force of the people, have been manipulated to serve oppressive powers.
So it's not enough to just have power on your side.
Right.
It's about who or what is directing that power and
Okay.
to what end.
And to illustrate this, Pike introduces these two really interesting concepts, the Rough Ashlar and the Perfect Ashlar. Now, these are Masonic terms.
But like, I mean, those terms, like, what do they actually mean?
Right. So the Rough Ashlar, think of it as raw potential.
Yeah.
The unorganized masses,
Yeah.
right? Full of energy but lacking direction.
Okay. Yeah.
And the Perfect Ashlar, this represents a society, where things are running smoothly, fairly effectively.
Yeah.
It's,
So the rough ashlar is like, it's like the raw materials, and then the perfect ashlar is like the finished product.
you got it. Think of it like this, that Rough Ashlar needs to be shaped, molded, to become something strong, purposeful, like a building block for a better world.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. So that's where that guided force we were talking about comes in.
Exactly.
It's about taking that raw energy, that desire for change, and shaping it with, knowledge, honesty, compassion. So it's not enough to just tear down the old. You got to build something better in its place.
Exactly. And Pike believed that's where Freemasonry came in. He saw it as a way to help people develop their intellect, their morality, to become those perfect ashlars, so to speak.
Yeah. I can see that. It's like taking those principles of architecture and applying them to personal growth, to societal change. It's about, it's about more than just bricks and mortar. It's about building a better future for everyone.
Precisely. He really believed that Masonry offered a framework for personal and societal transformation, using symbols and allegory to convey these, deeper truths.
And one of the most powerful symbols he talks about is the lodge itself, right?
Yes. When most people think of a lodge, they think of a physical building.
Mhm.
But Pike, he saw it as a representation of something much greater. He connected it to the Temple of Solomon, which he believed was like a microcosm of the universe, right? This,
Right.
this incredibly ordered and harmonious system.
So each individual lodge, each community striving for knowledge and virtue becomes part of something much bigger, right?
Exactly.
I love that. It's like this beautiful tapestry all woven together by, shared values and aspirations.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And within that framework, Pike also emphasized the importance of individual principles, those personal qualities
Yeah.
that contribute to a just and equitable society.
Okay, so like give me some examples. What kind of principles are we talking about here?
Well, one of the big ones is education,
Mm.
the constant pursuit of knowledge, right? Self-improvement. Pike firmly believed that, the more we learn, the better equipped we are to make a positive impact on the world.
Yeah, it's like that old saying, to change the world, start with yourself.
Right.
You can't create a better world if you're not constantly trying to be a better person.
Right. And along with education, Pike also stressed the importance of actively opposing injustice,
Okay.
right? Fighting for what's right. But he also believed that, it shouldn't be all about these grand gestures.
What do you mean?
Well, he put equal emphasis on the importance of our everyday actions, like cherishing loved ones, supporting our communities, even having, like a healthy love for our country.
Okay.
It's about finding that balance between personal growth and civic responsibility.
So it's not just about like being a good person in theory. It's about actually living those values
Yeah.
in every aspect of your life.
Exactly. One of Pike's 10 Commandments of Masonry that really speaks to this is, study to know men, that thereby thou mayest learn to know thyself. Now, when he talks about these commandments, he's not talking about the biblical 10 Commandments,
Right.
but a set of, guiding principles, right,
Right.
for Masons.
Yeah, that's such a powerful statement because it really speaks to the importance of self-awareness, right? Like really understanding your own motivations and your own biases so that you can be a more effective agent for change, right?
Absolutely. Because if we don't understand ourselves, how can we truly understand and connect with others?
Right.
It's a lifelong journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
And for Pike, this was a crucial part of becoming a better person
Mhm.
and a more engaged citizen.
Yeah, it really makes you think, like, if we all took a bit more time for, like, introspection, wouldn't the world be a very different place?
It's certainly a question worth asking ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But Pike goes even further than that, right?
Yeah.
He truly believed that individuals have a responsibility to stand up for what's right,
Okay.
even when it's hard, even when it
Yeah.
feels like you're, swimming upstream.
So it's about having that inner strength,
Right.
that courage to be a voice for good, even when it's unpopular or
Sure.
difficult.
Exactly. He uses this incredibly vivid analogy of Carthaginian soldiers.
Okay.
Even when facing certain defeat, they refuse to surrender.
Wow.
It's this powerful image of, unwavering resilience.
Yeah.
A call to stay true to our principles, even when the odds are stacked against us.
So it's about recognizing that real change often requires discomfort, right? Like it
Yeah.
requires us to step outside of our comfort zones and challenge the status quo.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to, I think, Pike's central argument, which is that force without direction,
Right.
without a moral compass, is like a wildfire.
Okay.
Powerful, but ultimately destructive.
Right.
But when it's guided by intellect, by truth, by love, that's when it becomes the driving force behind a brighter, more equitable future.
That's such a powerful message and surprisingly relevant, to a lot of what's going on in the world today.
It really is. In a time when, we're bombarded with information, misinformation, right? and often fueled by division, I
Uh-huh.
think Pike's words remind us that real progress demands more than just good intentions, right?
Yeah.
Or brute force.
We need that unwavering commitment to truth and understanding, that willingness to, to engage with different perspectives, even when it's difficult,
Right.
and that compassion that binds us together, as human beings.
Beautifully put. It's about recognizing that we all have a part to play in shaping the world around us.
Right.
Our actions, big or small, they ripple outwards,
Right.
and they contribute to the collective tapestry of humanity.
Yeah, it's like the butterfly effect, right?
Exactly.
Something so seemingly insignificant can have, like, huge consequences.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that leads us to, I think, a final thought-provoking question that Pike's ideas raise, which is,
Mm.
if our thoughts and actions are the building blocks of the world, what kind of world are we each creating? Are
Mhm.
we using our intellect, our compassion, to shape a world that we can be proud of?
Now, that is a question worth pondering. It's a call to action for all of us to kind of like, reflect on our own lives,
Yeah.
right? And ask ourselves, like, are we part of the solution, or are we adding to the chaos?
And that, my friends, is the beauty of diving deep into these thought-provoking ideas. It's
Mhm.
not about easy answers. It's about asking the right questions.
Yeah.
It's about, really engaging in that ongoing dialogue with ourselves and the world around us.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that we all have that power,
Right.
that potential to
Yeah.
create meaningful change.
Absolutely.
Well, that is going to wrap up another deep dive. Thank you for joining us.
Until next time, keep those minds churning, keep those hearts open, and never underestimate the power you have to make the world, a little bit brighter, a little more just, one thought, one action at a time.